Rose, stranger to you and me.
What's up, peeps? What's up, everyone? Got a little different lighting trying out tonight. A little bit of a different time going on in the evening. Oh, excuse me. So, uh, shortly here, hope to have a special guest. She'll pop in and we'll get into some background stuff. She could give us some good background stuff on Flora. Since the last time I talked about some of the documents, got a lot of questions about things. And tonight, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the CAD sheet, which is the stuff that's kind of abbreviated, words misspelled, things happen. And I'll be able to tell you exactly what's on there and everything like that and what that means. And a few things that are not on there. But I'll give you all the tools that you need. You could read these at any time from now on. You'll be able to read the CAD sheets pretty easy for any incident, police incident, fire, EMS, anything that you're discovering or looking at. Long Island serial killer, looks like they got him. He's being charged with 3, looks like going to be 4. And then the rest of them, I think there was around 10. I've shared some stuff about the profile. They've hit it all. I don't know if the guy abused substances or not. That'd be unusual for a serial killer that didn't abuse the substance. They said he did not. They said he'd be financially stable. He'd be married or have a girlfriend. And he's been all those things. I think this guy, once he's convicted, we won't be able to shut him the fuck up. He strikes me as that kind of person. So, hey, our guest will be here in a second. So I like wrestling. I have a surprise guest. Someone else I was talking to was like, why didn't you tell people she was going to be on? More people would watch. And then I thought, well, they were probably right by doing that. But so that's basically it. We'll go over that tonight. She can give a ton of background on everything, kind of the broad strokes. I'll be the play-by-play. She'll be the color analyst tonight as the opposite. I'm usually the color analyst, not the play-by-play. We'll say hi to everybody, then we'll bring her in. If you are in my Discord, you know who's coming in because you are all excited about it. Truth Justice, Deb, Polygraph, Jinx. Jinx getting ready for the big cookout tomorrow. I hope there's video of that cookout. Anyways, without further ado, let's let her get back in front of her screen there. So, again, I'll be able to bring these documents up and go over it as I'm getting pretty good at that. And I don't know if she has anything else she wants to add, but we'll bring her up now.
Hi. So sorry. I'm like late to the game. So just like let me know. I just was absolutely loving what you were doing and whatever. I am happy to fill in.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I told you before, I think that I could do some X's and O's stuff, then you can help paint like the broader picture for people. Because people ask a lot of questions about some things. Some things I didn't have the answer to, like personal connections and stuff like that you could help out with.
Yeah. And like I always like learn a lot from like your insight. I'm like, okay. So like I understand like how strange it is among the firefighters, I guess. Like I don't know that perspective.
Yeah, a lot of the things, like I told you, I've said over and over, I told you, and I've said over and over here, so many of the things are so bizarre. And one of the things that I found in this the CAD page we'll go over is the arrival times of the first floor units aren't on there. The only thing that's the first floor engine. Adam Randall's there. He's designated. He has his own call number.
Yeah, I can't find his arrival time either.
Well, I could show you that. It's odd because he
Wait,
calls.
so this is brand new because I haven't been able to find this before. So this is from
I
Vol.
think
Documents.
I believe it's in there. I'll show it to you. I could be wrong, but I believe it's in there. But he calls en route to the fire maybe 30 or 40 seconds before Yoder does. So I don't know if the Florida Fire Department is given the call first. Here's how they do it here. Usually police get it first, and then us and EMS. And here's the reason why, because police could get there so much faster. They can assess the situation quicker, and they don't need all the details. Hey, we think there's a house on fire on this street. That's all cops need to know. They don't need to know anything else. They just need to get there and tell us what's going on. We need to know a bunch of shit. But I'll show that to you in there. So it appears that he got the call. We see when Yoder gets the call in the car, it immediately responds. But I'll explain the 10 codes to you guys. And I think
a lot of people have home radio systems because I also know Josh Ayers heard it on the home radio.
Okay, then they would understand the 10 codes. The 10 codes like 10-4, good buddy, those aren't used in most of the country anymore.
I know 10-4 is just, Yeah,
that's, that's not. We actually had classes in the early 2000s about the National Incident Management System, the NIM system, and they wanted everyone to use the same terminology across the country.
That's where I get my data when I'm going through it.
Yeah, but it helps. You can have a little thing there to see it, but I'll be able to show you that. And again, the only thing I could think of is if the engine was so excited they didn't call on scene. That happens sometimes. But it was never, it says in the report when they got there, in the narrative of the report, okay? But the narrative of the report, the time that they got on the scene, and I'll show these to you in a second, is the same exact time they were dispatched.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what happened, but they never.
This is something I've heard about the arrival time. So this is something I've heard.
Yeah. The CAD system thing,
and I think this is interesting if we can put some actual times to this, if they're actually recorded as such. You know what I mean?
Every transmission's recorded on the radio, so that's what you're seeing. Yeah. You're seeing everything recorded, and so that can't really be fudged. The narrative, you can put whatever you want in the narrative. So it says in the narrative that they arrived at this time, but if you scroll down a little bit, and I'll show you here in a second in the report. It's it literally let me just show it to you because it's kind of beyond bizarre, if that even makes sense to you. So let me do this here. I have it queued up in my email, so this shouldn't take me that long to do. I did this last time.
Okay. I take forever with these things. So, I'm completely unable to share more. Yeah.
Okay, actually, the first thing that I have here is the 911 thing. Have you seen this before? I don't know if you have seen this before. So this is they have a public access counselor, which is kind of I guess a person in the middle.
This is the USNI. Yeah. USNI, is her name USNI?
No, this is up top. Yeah. She's the complainant. Forget the guy's name, but she was from the news station or whatever. But basically, they're
he was so good at getting all these things early on.
Yeah, I just wanted to show people this. This is very easy to find. We could search by the name, or if you search Flora 911 tape court.
Yeah, it just comes up on Google. Yeah, you can just look up Flora Carroll County 911 tapes, and then I think this is the brief, the Amicus brief that they put together. But I don't know if I've seen this one. You're right. Wait, can you make it larger? Just zoom in. Oh, perfect.
Does that help or not?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, so this basically, I don't want to say it's like an arbitrator type person, but they go over and basically say, yeah, you should make this public. You shouldn't fight this in court.
I think this is the Micah's brief or whatever, one of them.
Yeah, I think it's about 7 pages. This isn't what I wanted to show you guys first, but let me go with what I wanted to show you here.
But I totally agree with every single word that is said in that. Like that is, and I think that it's still very much of a strange ruling that, and I do think that they should have appealed it again. But I know that like that incurs extra legal fees and whatever, but that's why we don't have it, is because they have ruled in that favor and no one's fought them on that.
Okay.
Because it would have to be appealed to the Supreme Court of Indiana.
Seeing some of my queued things that I've started. Well, you never know if you ever need them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I just pulled the same exact thing up. I'm an idiot. Hold on. Yeah. You never know if you're ever going to need. I hope I don't, but just in case.
Yeah, that's something you learn very early on with the Flora case. There's some wild stuff.
Oh, here it appears. Actually, there's screenshots. I believe I don't. Maybe I didn't send the file. Maybe I sent a screenshot.
I think I might have it. I actually probably have one of them pulled up already.
The one that's in. I shared it. I shared it on the last one, and I swore that I just emailed it to myself.
Yeah.
Either the FDI report narrative. Hold on a second. I should have it here. It's showing on my. It's not there.
I'll put, you emailed me. Was it any of those ones?
Yeah, that was, I think that's the one you said that you recently just didn't see.
Yeah.
It's not showing up here, but it's on my phone, on my email. Some of it's in yellow. It's the narrative.
I can pull it up. I just literally ran piece of glass. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so you sent this email.
Page. Let me stop doing this. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, I actually had it up the other day because I was going over it. Either the yellow part or the white part, either or. That's where where Courtney made the 911 call. If you look at the bottom, the top is like yellow and the bottom's white. It says Courtney made the 911 call, and then it gave. Would that give you?
You're talking about this.
Yeah, can you put it up?
The fire department run report.
I think that's all in the same thing. Yeah, there should be like 7 or 8 pages. You have the handwritten report. You have the people that showed up, and if you keep scrolling down, there's. I think the last 2 pages are that.
Do I have? Can I share? Yes, I can. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. Like I said, I showed it last time, and it's not. Unless I moved it to a different folder or something, and I can't open it now or something. I don't know.
Am I sharing? Am I sharing? Yes. You have to put my screen up. Thanks.
There you go. Yeah, that's the fire report. Those are the guys that were there.
We have no junior firefighters. Okay. But I didn't even know there was an Eric.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything surprising here? Not really. Okay.
No, I mean, I don't really know anybody. It's I'm surprised Yoder's listed as a fireman there. That might not be a big deal, but if you look at that list, I would take that list as just firefighters that are firemen in Flora. Okay. And the reason I say that is because if you look, Dissinger
you can also see some of these people in the footage we have. So like this is just helpful for you to know who's walking around at certain points. But we don't have like one long full thing, which would help me.
No, you just have from Flora. You don't have any other people's. Now, everyone else should have. They should all have records in their records too that they came to this fire, and these are the guys or gals that went from so and so department to Flora for that fire. They also would have those records too.
Okay.
From all the other places.
Interesting. This is one thing I actually wanted to ask you, and I'm going to ask you before I forget. But Adam, you said that sometimes they had different colored. The chief has a different color thing, or is that?
Yeah. Every fire department that I can think of.
Sorry.
Yeah, the chief's going to wear a white helmet. The chief of the department, some other officers might wear a white helmet too. The people that are immediately underneath the chief, but the fire chief of the department always wears a white helmet. I can't think of a situation where they don't.
So can we assume that in the dash cam footage that we do have, that the person in the white helmet is the chief?
Yes, I would assume that he certainly is a chief. And by seeing who it was at the time, I would think that it's the Flora chief.
Well, that's very interesting because he's captured on there.
Yeah. Well, we know he was there real early. You know what I mean? As we'll see in these papers.
But he's very nonchalant about things.
Yeah. It's a little, and he said things that, well, that's not true when Galen said this. And then we saw the dash video and we proved that was, what he was saying was completely false.
Right.
What she said was completely right.
Yeah. And that's also the other thing about the whistleblower letter. I am intrigued by it too, because it does put Yoder, it does displace the blame onto Yoder in a weird way.
Yeah. It's almost like the whistleblower letter was
too hard.
Like, we got to get something off my chest. Something went wrong here. But at the same time, I got to defend my department and what's going to be left of my department type thing. So, like, I think some of that's good. And I disagree with some of it. But the part I disagree with of the letter, I think I understand why they're saying what they say, if that makes sense. I think the whole letter to me makes sense. And I'm glad whoever put it out, I'm glad that they did put it out, put it that way, as opposed to not putting it out. But, yeah, the Yoder thing's tough. But I'm telling you, he makes that call early on, even before Flora Fire Department is on scene. He makes that call early on to call for another fire department. Them guys were pissed off about that.
Just such a silly thing. Like, it sounds so.
That's the fire department. That's the fire service. And
that
I
is so ridiculous.
With volunteer departments and paid departments too, but around us is mainly volunteer departments. And they'll call people in that are 2 or 3 towns away because they drink with those people and they're friends with them, as opposed to calling the people next door. Because
my God, it's like that. Like, they didn't invite them. Okay.
I swear to God, they say that on TV. Well, they don't call us. They had a fire. They didn't call the city of Pittsburgh. I sent you that a while back, and the guys go, well, they don't call us.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was the most
it's unbelievable
thing, and I was like, that's childish.
So those guys were pissed about that, and they could be like, oh, you're up here trying to play hero, and his argument like, well, no one else was doing X, Y, and Z or whatever, and then it kind of turns into a mini pissing match. And
I also wonder if any of that was exacerbated by the fact that they have had a lot of hero situation, and it's always the police officer that gets to be the first responder in those.
I don't know if that's because of the way that it's rural and they're patrolling and they're in their cars and they're going to get somewhere quicker, even if they're a few miles away than the guy getting out of bed, going to the station.
Or maybe they just always work the night shift, but it tells you a little bit about the fires. They were started really late. Well, they started really late at night.
For sure. For sure.
And the kids were always upstairs. So I found that also to be interesting. Not necessarily. I understand that you can have the same people respond to.
It's odd though. It's odd though. So when people say that, because when I initially looked, I'm like, it's this dude again and this dude again. So when people say that, I totally understand. It's odd.
Ooh, and they had a Carroll County Arson Task Force, which was disbanded around this time, where they would all be the ones investigating the arson. Obviously, Dennis Randall is on that. But they had the same people that were trained within the county to be the investigators.
I didn't know that. Did they ever make any arrests, this task force, or did they just kind of give up?
Well, no, well, a few times they did, I think, but like I think that there there were many times that the arson task force would come in and just like determine it was set by like lightning or whatever, and they would kind of get in between the private investigators who are investigating for insurance. So that was clear from like just from the archives of
Everything
how,
they do is just so bizarre. Like,
and insurance was a big part of it. They did not want insurance to be
yeah.
on them.
So
On
it clearly was identified as an issue then.
No, but yeah, like they
You know
would
what I mean? For them to do that.
predictably
Yeah.
have very like very generous insurance coverage. It's almost like an ethical arsonist just about insurance.
Oh, it's yeah. But real quick, I want to say there's a bunch of people of saying hi, and I'll
Oh, I totally forgot we had comments. I totally forgot this was live.
pop
Um,
through.
for a
Yeah.
second.
Just there's so many. I said a couple before. Uh, Deja vu, Deb, Dave. There's just so many nice
Oh, I have to
comments.
keep scrolling. I forgot. I'm in charge
Yeah.
of this.
A lot of this stuff's for you. Frosty likes my
Um,
beard. Frosty, I'm on vacation for a couple shifts. That's why I can grow a beard. Like I was telling people the other day, we're not allowed to grow past our lip line because so our air mask fits. But more importantly, what we found out was firemen with beards actually bring cancer to their home in their beard.
I could see how that happens because really
We've studied it over the years, and you tell these guys, and they're like, "Oh, I'm an old school fireman." Like, dude, that's fine, but like,
it's a lot of exposure.
If you're an interior guy, you shouldn't have a beard. It's just more places for it to get caught and get stuck.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But
no, there is a really bad problem with cancer rates, especially
so,
arson investigators and stuff, because like they have horrible cancer rates because they spend a lot of time sitting in it with their career. So
if you go, is that the first page?
Sorry, I keep forgetting.
In the white there. No, you're there. I think that's it right there. So if you look, it's hard for me to read. So what I'll do is I'll actually look on my phone at it too. But it say there in like consecutive sentences, it'll say that 6:51 Adam Randall responded, and then if I'm not mistaken, it's like the next sentence it says that Yoder. I'll be able to give you their call signs and that in a second.
I see.
So it's like a less than a minute ahead. So he must have got. So in theory, he had to get the call first. Because they
took this out. No, I swear to God, they took this out because they definitely have it changed in the ISP timeline that we have from Todd Hetrick.
I find that, in my opinion, that this here is the most.
Wait, let me pull that one up. Like I just, it's bothering me.
Yeah, they could be different, but I think this one that I sent you here, to me, is the most like original, if that makes sense.
No, and I totally understand that. But if there was some sort of
could be right
of it, I would like to. I'm curious if that was, I don't know, like to make someone look good or just to protect someone, I guess.
Probably to cover an ass.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of
like, hey, dude, look what you wrote here, you idiot! Like, fix this, or we got to.
But like, why would he do that?
Because they're expecting it to be scrutinized. In our fire department, I mean, there's an abandoned house on fire. The deputy's going to write a good report, but he's not going to get too in depth. But if they're suspicious, husband and wife are arguing, it's suspicious, he's going to go out of his way to really write a ton of stuff, thinking, I might be in court one day, so I need all the information I can put down so I remember everything, so I can say, yeah, that happened and that happened. Right. So that tells me that they expected at some point something was, hey, something's going to come of this.
Oh, motherfuck. Okay. I'm so sorry. But this is the one that I was talking about, but it's sideways, so I'm going to have to go back to it. Like I have reposted it on its like upright side on my channel and like also on the Reddit. But I was just saying that this one's more detailed in like the phone calls, the 911 calls. And then this one is just, it does say it's synchronized to Yoder's
Oh, okay,
camera.
okay.
And then, but they did not. You're saying it's 37 is when he. Yeah, it says it did say that, but it didn't. Okay, it says departed. Yeah, it does have it, but they just include more in between. Sorry.
So he departed for the call roughly
Exactly. It's
30
correct.
seconds or something before. Yeah. So we would have to assume that got dispatched to him before it got dispatched to the police then, or how else would he have known to call out to the call?
I don't know. I think that they're like arguing. Okay, like take this with a grain of salt, but I think that they've in this thing. Okay, let me try and read it on its side. But it said that it was emergency responders are dispatched toned out at 3:35. It does say that, and it says clock source not recorded or not reported. So that's interesting. And then it gives another one of dispatch 3:35:49. So that's to the second. And it says emergency responders dispatch tone out. This dispatch signal was simulcasted to police, EMS, and fire, according to Josh Dysinger interview at 49 seconds. So interesting, because they're like really bringing into people's statements here. Sorry, I'm literally reading this sideways.
I found the copy over here that I could go off of, so it doesn't have to be.
Oh, perfect. That's so much better
for me to see. But if you look here, like so the CAD. So basically, how the CAD works is somebody. There's an operator for 911 and there's someone on the other end talking on the radio. Anytime the operator from 911, they could put input information by typing it in, by information that they get from the call taker, or when I key up the mic or something, it'll generate a message and say, hey, this is what's going on, or basically it'll just make a note that, okay, they're on scene, they're this, they're that. And as I was looking before, and again, with the darn 10 codes, 1076 is en route, 1023 is on scene. These are things that you'll see in there when you're reading this over, when you get down to after this part, when you get down to the next part. So just so everybody knows. And then we could tell people that 651 is Adam Randall, 601 is the Flora engine. That's the first engine that usually comes out the door. I have pictures of that. That carries 2 ground ladders, a 24 and a 16 and a 24. It has had a retractable ladder rack on the side of it. 628.
Why didn't they use that? What was wrong with
that? They just didn't use it. I have no explanation. I don't know. 628 was the second.
Can't say that like that.
Is the second apparatus that came out. It's a squad truck. It said it had turnout gear, so it's probably like a pickup type truck. You'll see D7 at Delphi Police Department. I believe that's some kind of officer from the Delphi.
Didn't they arrive later?
D7, yeah, you'll see that at the bottom. FS or F5, I believe, is Josh Dysinger. F5, I think that's what he is. 902 is the county the Carroll County EMS director. He was on the scene. You could look his name up. 902, Carroll County EMS director. These are just the different things that
give me his name.
Wrote down. I have it written down. I don't have it in front of me, but I did look up stuff on them. Now that person could have made a call on bodies. That person could have said, yeah, these people were deceased. But with all 4 doing CPR, usually that doesn't end that you go to the hospital. You know what I mean?
It was interesting. There was
you could also see in here that Adam Randall's the one that called for the helicopter for Galen. He's the one that made the call. Around here, a fireman can't call for a helicopter unless there's no EMS around, but that never happens. That's an EMS call. But I might be able to show you right here.
Where is that?
It's toward the bottom of this narrative. So go toward the bottom. Okay, hold on. Stop right there.
Lifeline for a patient mid-40s and females.
Yeah, Flora Fire Unit 651, and we know that 651 is Adam Randall. That's Adam Randall's call sign. So Adam Randall called for the helicopter. That's
She did, I guess.
bizarre.
Yeah, she must have passed it at that point. I don't know. She just said that she
That's,
like collapsed and she woke up in
since he was unresponsive here, but for him, for the fire chief to call for the helicopter is unusual circumstances where I'm from. I can't imagine it's that much different in Indiana. That's you. The helicopter's all medical. That's all medical people make that call. We never make that call. So
interesting.
but it's noted in there. It's clearly noted in there that he made the call. So
yeah, I didn't know she was unresponsive either.
yeah,
But
she could have passed
she did
out.
say there was like a big she like remembers next was like someone telling her in an ambulance like that her kids were gone.
She could have been up and going and then just suddenly passed out, or the
Well,
shock.
I think you heard her screaming. She said
Yeah.
like she was pretty much like screaming the whole time. And I think that you can become very hypoxic also just immediately having left that house fire.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like it really could easily cause someone just to pass out from screaming or yeah, like that. So I do think that, I mean, that's also kind of consistent with this. I think like she like I feel like there was like a point where she like is absolutely screaming and then you don't hear it anymore, but also I think that might have been cut out of the dash cam. Anyways, this is all really great stuff that I need to go through more deeply also because I mean can we get this? Can we get the whole audio like FOIA?
Well, normally, yeah. Normally, yeah, but this is literally so this is almost like the 911 call. They're going to say to me, this is from dispatch, and they've already said the 911 call, and that Cassie lady that's going to be the taking the brunt of all this, that made the decision, the dispatch director. I think they're going to say this is all covered by that. Because the radio communications haven't been out, and the radio communications aren't always open to the public, but a lot of times they are, especially when there's like a critical incident like this. They'll let people hear what happened, or if you want to hear what happened. But I think that they'll try to loop this in with the 911 call because it's so unusual that the 911 call won't be released. That's so unusual.
It is really unusual.
It is. And if you want to scroll down a little bit more.
And it's interesting because they first actually requested the 911 calls from Flora Fire Department.
Yeah. So basically, what I think happened is someone heard something and was like, oh, shit. But I don't, it's odd for a fire department to request 911 tape too. I can't think of my career that we've ever done that before. Unless it was like something
very strange. Like that's one of those things I can't really get my head around, especially with this case, is like understanding why certain people were protecting certain people.
Or is the chief talking on the 911 tape? Because we could almost prove that he's there at the time that the call comes in because
I just got chills.
I'm not saying he does, but what could he be saying? And police is like, oh no, it might let out the investigation.
Wow, you're right. Maybe because during that county commissioner meeting, there is one person from the fire department who's sitting right there, and he has very strong opinions about that 911 call. And you should if you get a time, it's really boring. It's like an hour and a half of them talking about it. But he has.
I've watched a lot of those meetings.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Yeah, that's
not the one you're talking about.
You probably love it. But yeah, so he sits in. I think his name's Pearson. But I forget what his full name is. But that one was the one who was on the fire department. And he said, I worked fire EMS for all these years. And that's why he wanted to suppress the 911 calls.
Oh, he said if anyone that wants to hear this is sick or something.
Yes. And that was when he actually said that to the reporter, and the reporter said, that's very rude.
Yeah.
Right back to him.
For someone that says something like that, I mean, that to me, I'm like, well, what do you have to hide? Why would you say that? Like, what?
Exactly, because she was saying, like, it was almost like a straw man's argument, because she was saying, like, why are you in such strong opposition to the public access counselor? Is this in the county's best interest? Like, why are you determining that? And they all had listened to the tape before having come to that. And it's like, so they made that decision after listening to it. It was very odd. And they said, didn't think that it was anything of evidence.
Well, that's it, but the police are saying opposite. That's the whole argument is we can't release this because it's an ongoing investigation. But yeah,
well,
I heard
why
what you
are
heard
they snapping? I mean, if they have shown their probable cause threshold where it comes to Delphi, they should also uphold this with Flora. And I think they have probable cause. No, they have probable cause for an arrest.
Yeah, for sure. I believe so. I believe so. Or at the very least to like bring people in and really put pressure on people if they wanted to.
Well, but he also was not cooperating from day one.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people
know that from the county minutes where they even talked about how he submit the just I think literally 3 weeks before he put in his resignation letter. He submit something to county council to pay for his lawyer fees. So he wasn't afraid of showing it to county council, which is interesting. It's almost like why
it's I don't
because he's not hiding that from them. Very much.
No, and like I said, we could basically prove that he was there when the 911 call was made. And as we start scrolling through, you'll see what time that he gets there.
So what if he like set the fire but wanted the girls? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what his thing would be with that. I know he had emotional breakdowns. I know he had some things going on.
Well, his wife divorced him the day after.
Yeah, so there was something. So yeah, it was. I don't.
November 22nd, 2016. You guys, literally, the fire chief's wife divorces him. It's like.
Was it the way he handled the fire because of the way that the people there looked? I hate to think stuff like that, but the more I learn out there, but you can't rule it out.
They have a kid together. It's quite a divorce.
Yeah. There's a lot of other issues there.
And was he even staying in that home at that home at that time?
Yeah.
Because.
And those are things that could stress you out,
But also his response time, like where he lived, where was he even living at that time?
Oh yeah,
he didn't show up with a vehicle.
Unless he's out patrolling the streets in the middle of the night.
He didn't show up with a vehicle. We know that, right?
Yeah. Well, as far as I know, no. Yeah. It doesn't get in specifics here, but it's.
We see no other vehicle at the scene.
Yeah, and he's there. Yeah, and you would see.
Do we hear his voice at some point actually in that?
I don't know. I've only heard his voice from an interview or something he did somewhere at some fire station. But
yeah.
In that, I couldn't tell.
YouTube.
I wouldn't been able to pick his voice out of there.
He's got a little bit of a nasally one.
Yeah, so he's literally, 337.
Weird, right? And did he make the directive to move them to the fire department floor?
Well, no one's saying anything about that. As we go through the documents and the data, I can't see any directive or anything that even mentions that. The moving of the girls.
Why didn't they mention
because I was wondering how they move and what did they use. That's what I looked for. And I couldn't find any mention of them even being moved.
Why did they mention Anthony Gray?
Anthony Gray lived upstairs with Courtney Dawns.
But we know they were moved because we know they were moved, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying in the documents that I've seen so far, all of the documents, I haven't seen them anyone saying that they moved the girls. I've heard people talk about we did that, but you see, you can't see anything.
So we haven't actually verified that for the media and the public.
What do you mean moving?
the moving the girls, like, like, I think that we can verify that. We can
Well,
prove
people
that.
have even said that they said prayers and stuff.
No, people admit to it.
You know what
It's
I
just
mean?
like,
Yeah, but it
I
doesn't
wonder if that's why
say.
they haven't filed charges on that.
I haven't seen it anywhere in any like official document that they did it. Oh, I agree with you that they did it 100%, but I don't see anywhere. And I thought that the stuff that I would have, that I was looking at breaking down recently, that's what I look for. Because my question was, how are they transported? Was an ambulance involved? Because it should take 4 ambulances, but it would take a minimum of 2. So there'd have to be a coordinated effort. There had to be 6, 7, 8 people that knew about this, but I can't find anything in there whatsoever that says anything.
Right.
But if
And
you
they
want
also,
you know what, before you scroll down, good, say what you're saying. I'm going to start picking some comments out of here.
oh yeah, I actually wanted to mention to someone, yeah, so there were multiple agencies investigating this fire, and some of the evidence was lost. So
yeah, smoke detector evidence was lost.
they started clearing out the fire too early and shit.
Yeah, well, the smoke detector evidence, like from the private companies, I don't think it was really nefarious. That situation, that just
came back up though, right? One of the smoke detectors like reappeared in 2022.
Well, I don't. Oh, did they? I know that it
was noted in the civil case, and I was like, "That's some."
Oh, it came back
Oh, where did that come from? It's new.
So,
like, I don't know. I didn't see it before.
So if you look here, this is yellow. So we get where I work 3 to 7 calls every day. So I'm reading every single day on my phone. Every time we get a call, I get a text, and we get stuff that looks like this. It'll have but it's like computerized, and it'll have these numbers on it. The 4138, I think, is the dispatcher number or the person working at the center.
What's 654?
What's that?
654 here.
654 is the I don't have 654 here. 654 1076 is en route. I don't know. Could be somebody, if they list theirs alphabetically like we do, that would be a few things past Flora. Is there any fire departments that start with G or H or anything? We could figure out from the list. Yeah, usually the numbering system goes by, like, we're McKeesport. Our station number is 190. So in Allegheny County, alphabetically, we're the 190th department, right? Mm-hmm. The next department after us is McKees Rocks. They're 191.
What about J?
It's possible. It's possible that it was them. I don't see them. I didn't have them written down.
Jefferson or Jefferson was what they used to call Camden, and you can see Camden on the back of people's fire
Camden on the shirts there. But so if you look initially where it says Delphi toned out, so that's the initial, according to that, the very first thing you see, that's the initial call to the Delphi Fire Department at the very top, which would have been
right here
at the very top of the yellow, like the first thing. Or I'm sorry, Flora. I'm sorry. Flora fire toned out 335. So technically, that's the initial.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. Now, but here's the thing.
Because the first phone call was 3. I'm going to get confused. 330.
333 or 334. I'm not. It was
334.
It doesn't say exactly on the thing here. Anyway, so we have that. And then you have, but here's the thing. We don't know what time the police are notified of this, in my opinion, because like we talked about before, when you read the report, the thing up top, and then you're looking at all these people, 1076, that means they're en route. So 811, that's Drew Yoder. He's advising to tone out Cutler Fire as well. Okay, that's less. That's a minute and 7 seconds from the time that Florida Fire Department is toned out. Okay.
What's third one mean?
What's that?
Third one.
Third tone, that means that's the third time they're hitting their tones out. So they hit them out once. they wanted to get more people, so they kept hitting the tones out. I don't know if anyone didn't come the first time or not enough people.
Right.
That would be that. Flora fire requested tone out Delphi. So they're calling even before they're on scene. So as you look, 651, 1076 at 337. Okay. He said he's en route 337. But again, if you go up to the, you don't have to go up right now, but I'm going to jump back up into the narrative here. And 336, dispatch was advised to tone out Cutler fire. Okay, who makes that that dispatch? Who tells dispatch to do that? I think it has to be Yoder. You hear him on the radio saying about notifying other people, but if you look at the numbers, like the numbers, they just don't jive with what's up top and what's at the bottom. But here's what stuck out to me. You guys could do your own research on that. Here's what stuck out to me. You don't see in the Flora fire engine 601. That's their main fire engine.
Right.
That's the thing that comes out first. 651 is Adam Randall. 654, we have to find out who that is. I wonder if that's his dad. But 651 is Adam. It's possible because that's a chief number. 651.
Yeah, and he would be. But that's so weird that they would literally just in such close succession of 3 seconds.
3 seconds apart. They're 3 seconds apart on their response there. If you look,
so that's so weird. The other thing from the narrative that you get from the Todd Heatrick's report that I just wanted to make sure I said is Adam Randall opines his opinion on where the fire started, which means that he was probably involved in the actual investigation of the fire.
Well, he was, and he wasn't supposed to be. Kim Riley makes comments about that. He's really funny and says, yeah, that fire chief or what he made a comment that was something to the effect like, that fire chief and his dad think that they're investigators, but they're just firemen or something. Like he said it really nice, but he was definitely blowing smoke.
Oh, was that a dig? I was like,
oh no, that was a dig.
Saying, like he's a liar. Like this man's a suspect.
That was Kim Riley. That was a dig. Like, no, dude, they put the fire out. They're not in charge of looking at people or arresting anybody.
Interesting.
But so if you look at 340. 601 is 1076. That's the Delphi fire engine. That's the
so
main.
I wonder if some of this attitude is about ego. Like some of the shit that's gone on is just about ego between departments.
Well, a lot of it is, but there's more than that to this. Like if this was just a regular house fire and like no one got hurt and someone's house burnt to the ground, then let's get into the ego thing because ego probably caused some of it. We don't want to call these guys because fuck them or these guys over here because fuck them or whatever. But they're good guys and they had to put the fire out. Like people died here. So now that shit has become criminal. But it's whatever started this fire, whatever was the reason for the cover up that happened after, and there was one. But you'll look 601, 1076. They never show up on scene. You never see 601 unless I miss it, 1023, which means on scene. So they never reported on scene, or was that something that was taking out of here?
No, it says right here at 340, 51, 601, 1076.
That's them en route.
Yeah.
We're looking for 601, 1023. That puts them on
There's
scene.
No 1023.
Yeah. 628, 1023 on scene not long after. The medic one's 1023, but they never appear.
602 doesn't do a 1023 either.
602, 1076. Yeah, I don't. Okay, so that's just not one person forgetting. Okay, so you're real quick from the station. You get in the engine, you know people are trapped. Maybe you jump out of the truck and you don't call on scene. It happens. It happens with us sometimes too. Even not at major calls, guys forget. Shit happens, but
so maybe they're okay.
But all your trucks
so this is arrival at scene. Okay, I was very slow to the uptake.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay, but all your trucks, but you pointed that out though. All their trucks don't have an on-scene time. Look.
So Med 1 got there on scene that early?
That's whenever they would have gotten there, yeah. And if you would go back up, you should be able to look up Med 1, 1076. Whenever they're en route. Yeah, so 325. So they must have had a little bit of a jaunt wherever Med 1 was at. Maybe they were 20, 30 minutes away or somewhere in a different county.
Well, I think one of the neighbors might be an EMS unless they keep their cars at like their Is
No,
there?
no, no, no. EMS wouldn't be like that. EMS, even if they're volunteer EMS, they're going to keep the ambulance in a station. But even
Okay,
in
yeah, they
small
have one,
towns,
but it's very far away.
yeah, it might be the nearest paid EMS got people that are on duty that are staffed 24 hours, and they might have to send them. Because if you look further down, not that it's a big deal, but they start moving people around. They start moving different medical people into Delphi because Delphi was deplenished to go to Flora for all their stuff. So now people are moving into Delphi in case something happens there. And they kind of just take whatever's left and spread everyone around in case something happens somewhere else. So that's what a lot of that stuff is. The Samaritan is the one of the helicopter services. Lifeline is another one. And if you look, Adam
Oh,
Randall.
I would have thought it was like a good Samaritan, like a person who's just around the house.
Oh no, no, no. That's what their helicopter services. We have Life Flight and Stat Medevac here in Pennsylvania that fly, and they'll fly people for various things, trauma, heart issues. We have a lot of landing zones, actually, more than you'd like to say. But if you go down to the next page, starting at 422, that's when you'll see some other stuff. At the very end down there, you'll finally see Randall leave. And
wait. Where's 422? Sorry, you've lost me. Found it. 422.
the time. Yeah. It's
okay.
like the second page.
Yeah, no, I'm right here. I'm looking at why are they requesting to contact Flora Utilities?
Okay, Flora, that's not uncommon. So Flora Utilities is basically gas, electric, water. So if you have a
like
house fire,
priorities.
Well, no, but you want at fighting the fire. Soon as you start,
you want it off. You want it off.
Oh yeah, you want it all shut off when you're fighting a fire, whether it's an issue or not right away. So when you get on scene for a house fire, one of the things that the deputy does or county says, "You want me to notify utilities?" Yep, notify them all.
That's
we got a house fire. Yeah, we got a house fire. You all need to haul ass here. We'll tell you if we really need you on the way there, but they'll show up. Yeah, pull the gas meter or shut the gas off, pull the electric, or whatever the case may be. Or sometimes they'll call and say, hey, there's no electric to that house.
Wait, Kev, okay, I got to ask you something. The fact that if the electricity was deliberately cut from the, like, this fire or also the Monticello one, that was one where the fire went out, where the power went out before the fire. Does that also like point to like the arsonist having some sort of maybe awareness? First of all, awareness of that, because I don't feel like that's knowledge that I would know. I don't know, maybe other people do, but I don't. And like also like maybe like some preservation, so it does point to like a little bit more sophistication.
Yeah, well, there's two things with that, and with a lot of these fires, and we've talked about the power going out. Well, is the arsonist using the electrical lines as a conduit for the fire? And by that I mean, I don't know, could he be like stuffing papers in a junction box or something like that?
But they ruled it out according to Vergon.
What's that?
Vergon like says it was ruled out from the lack of any damage done to the wires.
Yeah, well, in Flora, I mean that was one of the things that he said. But the electric going off, could they be attacking the electrical panel? They could be attacking the electrical panel, or if someone's cutting the power and then lighting the fire, they're doing that to kill people, in my opinion. And there's people inside, and here's the reason why. You can't see, and a lot of people have hardwired alarms. Now, there'll be battery backup on those alarms usually, but the thought process is, well, boom, I'm cutting all the power. You're really not going to be able to see. It's going to be harder for you to get out. Or are they attacking the electrical system itself and using that as like part of their MO to cause the fire? But and it's certainly
a very unique one.
If there's people that are doing this and there's people in the house, that's a serial killer. It's not an insurance grab when you're doing this with this many people.
That's the thing. Like, who would do it like here and just be so
someone that loves fire and just can't, they're
But
just,
have that resentment toward enough resentment to like take it out and to impose that grief on someone,
yeah.
or impose this anger on like 3 kids.
Well, it's always women too. Not all. It's almost always women,
And
young women,
usually
women,
men are
single
not,
moms.
they're spared, or they're either spared or not home.
Yeah. Well, maybe whoever did it kind of let their dad off the hook and blamed their mom for everything. Oh, dad was always away working. Mom should have did this or mom should have did that. Just way theorizing here. I don't know.
Or like a lot more respect for men.
Or a fear. They're not afraid of women. They're
of
afraid
men,
of men. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's listen, it certainly is possible. And people are like, oh, you're getting off deep end. I don't think so. Like, we have a lot of information you share with me, and we're talking, we're going over it now. I'm working on stuff now. And it's just like you see things, and then you see people that continuously do stuff, and there's a whole hatful of them, and they never get checked for what they're doing, and they're burning this and they're burning that, and they just keep getting out. They're not going to get better. Not these kind of people.
Recidivism is bad.
Well, not with these type of folks. This isn't like the Long Island serial killer. I watched a great lady, Julie Cawley, was saying this guy was able to stop. And here's the reason: some killers can stop because they're not crazy. They're not compelled. They're doing it for fun. And they go, I don't want to get caught, blah, blah, blah. So he was able to step away for a couple of years. Some of these nuts, like your Ted Bundy, he could not stop. There was nothing he could do to make him stop. These guys are like that. They can't stop. They love fire. They worship it. I mean, it's like, oh, it's so great. And we're going to use fire to.
And even pyros don't usually necessarily want to kill people.
No, they like to watch fire burn. And listen, they don't want the cops to come. So if they could light something little on fire and sit there and literally watch the fire,
or just be a firefighter. Bad advice.
Well,
bad advice.
Unfortunately, there's that. And you'll see the firemen usually light fires when they don't want to hurt anybody. Mm-hmm. But if they get really good, we talked about the hero complex before. Well, if I'm going to be a hero, then I need to light a fire where there's someone at that I could save. And they'll try to set it up in a way where they'll go, oh, I just happen to go to this window and look, the person's right here and the fire's on the other side.
Interesting? Like they almost condition that behavior, maybe because people get promoted. That's when they get their biggest achievements in their career. And I could see how you could feel like slighted by that or you could feel, because, right, we know that Adam Randall got his promotion in 2014 in a very similar way that his like dad did or whatever.
Yeah.
And Dysinger became assistant chief.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say, but like I said,
you wouldn't try and kill 4 girls, right? And so, like, that's what I'm not sure did they snuff out the smoke detectors? Was that intentional? Was that deliberate? Then also, Josh Ayers having this like enormous policy on just prepared so well, uniquely prepared for a arson determination also, because it said terrorism coverage.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's going above and beyond. And it's all just, I just don't see somebody like, and Doug Carter would always say, well, whoever did this, they didn't mean to kill the girls, or that wasn't their intention. Now, he said that early on.
I know, yeah.
I don't know if he was thinking that, if he was looking another way when he said that at that point, but there's no.
I think so. I think they have looked other ways, and I think they maybe have focused sometimes on ways that just don't pan out. But I understand that, but it just feels like there has been almost a lack of follow-up here.
Yeah, I feel like that they were specifically attacked. The whole family was specifically attacked in this situation for whatever reason. I have theories. I don't know for sure, but I don't think whoever lit this fire cared if the people got out or not. I don't. And one of the things I was just going to say this and I forgot it. One of the arguments for Ayers and their company is, and I have it in my email, it's a picture of like, oh, you can only hear from a smoke detector from so far away. And this one was all the way in the kitchen. And here's a picture of one in the kitchen. Okay. So the smoke detector would have been too far away to wake them up. This is Josh Ayers' attorney's defense. Okay. Well, let's say all those things are true. Let's say it was too far away, it was put in the wrong place, which I said before. Those motherfuckers are the ones that put them up. How can you argue that? Who puts them
and no, they're even saying in their deposition, yeah, we never checked. I don't even remember putting them up.
It's like you're the ones that she doesn't put them there. It says you went over the rules.
No, but this is their cool legal argument now, which is super, like, I feel like it's like sovereign citizen-esque, because it is saying we are not the landlord. Birch Tree Holdings, the entity, is your landlord, and they were responsible for fixing those smoke detectors. We, Josh and Troy, are not your landlords. That's Birch Tree Holdings, LLC. Sorry, that is literally the argument.
But that's like their argument, like, oh, well, they were placed right. Well, you're the ones that put them up. Like it says it clearly in the code. You need to do X, Y, and Z and put them up. But it's just anyways.
It's very frustrating.
I shared some of the things that I had, and I wanted people to see them.
I know that they're even bringing up some of the slander in their defense against Galen, and it is going to be an interesting trial.
Yeah, the slander thing, that people still walk around and still believe that she walked down the street with the container of gasoline. It just shows you that
Jackie, like
people were naive, or at some point it was everyone in that family wanted to kill those girls, according to at some rumor at some point. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. And it's been blown out of the water every single time that they said some crazy shit, whether we think there was a fireman spreading it or maybe there was. I'm pretty sure there was a couple. And
I've even really looked into Jennifer, who's in the Flora police report. I know you know that. Yeah. And Colton, but it's just like they're dead ends. Like they're weird. Yeah. They're weird. They're plenty.
It's weird because there's so many people that are so promising as far as the suspect goes. But then you run the string out, and like you said at the end, like, yeah, this dude's definitely something's up with him. He's lying, but is he a killer or just a liar? Or does he just act like it's because police are around?
Yeah.
Or everything's possible. I mean, you have people out there that are dating until they find out they're cousins, and then they break up. It happens. It happened.
That was just honestly, that was a gift. That just is a gift that keeps on giving. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the gift. That's like Tobe's butt. The gift.
Yeah, gift that keeps on giving.
Right, I'm gonna go over some things here. Frosties.
Why do you think Doolin was there? And why is he not reported on here?
I don't know.
He's a defense witness. Well, he's a witness for both sides. But
Dolan's a big name right now with Delphi, and in my opinion, he's misunderstood with Delphi right now. Okay, because I think it's going to come out. And we got him. I don't think it's a limb. There's a few of us on this limb. I don't know. Maybe me getting on the limb will break it because I'm not a small guy. But what happened was, in my opinion, was Skinner takes the report. Skinner knows Richard Allen. Skinner puts it in. He didn't do this. He's a witness. Doolin putting it in the Orion system. We know he entered it into the Orion system, found it, it spits it out. So Doolin was the one that actually said, oh, shit, wait a minute, hold on about this. Look, Skinner, who passed away, man, he did this. They're protecting Skinner, in my opinion. We don't make the guy look bad. I don't think there was any nefarious things that Skinner was doing. I think that he just trusts Richard Allen and he's a good old boy. He's not going to do it. He was there. He talked. So he filed it in one system. And then when Doolin was running these things back through the Orion system, that's where this came from. So I don't believe that Richard Allen ever talked to Doolin at the market. I think he talked to Skinner, who could have been considered a civilian because he was retired and he was volunteering his time at that point. It was all hands on deck. But that was something that was what was told to me. It's
so weird that would be.
That was told to me from someone that's supposedly in the know. I wouldn't even call him a source because I don't have any sources. It's in no legal documents. But if you read the legal documents, I could see how you could be like, oh, it's Doolin, because that's the way to make it look. But there's so much, not to get on Delphi. And I think that Richard Allen is the guy. But let me say this. there's so much shit in the Delphi documents that it makes me like, why would they put this in here? Like, I'm not an
like to see
attorney.
your impression on it
What is
because you
this?
pull out so many things.
How are these times like this? Like, how did you, like, what the fuck? Like, what? Doesn't anyone proofread anything?
Yeah, they put out they literally put out their whole, all of their witnesses' names.
You would think that it would be like the most scrutinized thing. Like, I want you to
know, and I was like,
check this 25
I don't
times
have to redact anything anymore because you guys fucked up.
It's crazy. If there's just so much, it's I don't know.
And it also like puts like, I know, I'm like, all right, guys, like at least I had a guest before who was like, who like.
It's
my
bizarre.
God.
That's my theory on Duel. It's not my theory. I stole it from someone else, but anyways,
I always felt like the person who did Delphi though did know a little bit about how they respond to that area.
Oh, I 100% think that for sure. But you're saying with Doolin being here,
I'm not saying it was Doolin, but I'm just saying they definitely knew how that area was going to respond. And
well, we know that whoever the Carroll County Sheriff was in November of 2016 was here. We could prove that here on the CAD report. He's listed there as, I think that's, would it be something 181? Yeah, right there. 345. Request make contact with 81. It shows down there. It'll show 81. I think it shows 81 1076 and then 81 1023.
Right. Wow.
So, I mean, that's more than likely. I don't think that he was called out because it was a fire with fatality.
No, but he's also very close to Yoder, and
I think he was called. That's why I think he was called out. Yeah, absolutely. And even if he wasn't close to Yoder, there was a reasonable expectation that Yoder was going to die that night.
Well, also, like they have a close relationship. Yeah. He got him on the thing. Yeah. He recommended it.
And I think that Yoder feels that Tobe is protecting him. Even though, in my opinion, Yoder doesn't need protected. He feels he does. And listen, man, that guy, he's still doing the job. He lives there. He got a family, and he got to do what he got to do.
Yeah. I know that Galen likes him. So
if that'd be a guy that he ever wanted to talk, even off the record, I would promise never to say anything, just to be like, dude, like, there's a lot of people that get it about you. Like, we get it. Like, we saw, goddamn, you can watch, believe your own eyes. Like, the dude, boom, hit his knees, bang, he's in there. And as we found out, he was on his back. I think I could see.
He really, that was abnormal. Like his medical, like having to be on a ventilator is not normal.
Yeah. It was for almost a week. And I just noticed too, I didn't know that Galen was intubated, I think, for 2 days in her medical report. That's I mean, yeah. I'm going to tell you anything about
burns, which
stuff,
also might point to an accelerant here. I know we've talked about that.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to thank you guys. Oh my God, the guy from Pennsylvania has been caught. I think that guy is totally on a rampage.
Did you see him? Yeah, there was pictures. By his
girlfriend, and he's lighting everything on fire and doing everything he can for something. I think it's to get his kids, because he has 2 kids and they're putting them in safe custody, right? They put him in safe custody. Anyways, he totally lost his mind, but was normal before.
Truth Justice, thinking an insurance scam, and a lot of people think that. I personally don't, because there's people here, and if this even sounds right, I think that the heirs it was like an opportunity, like this was a tragedy, but you know what? We have this insurance, so let's go ahead and push.
Right.
And actually,
they did try to push it.
There's documents too where they went after information from the state police too, to get their shit paid off.
Right.
But I could definitely be wrong about that, though.
That's a good point, but I still think they're assholes.
Yeah. So Meow has a couple of different places she's looking for a timeline. Best place for a timeline.
So we have a website, which is just Flora-4, and you can find a lot of good things there. But, I would say that our Reddit page, some of the people who put these timelines together are really specific. If you want those links and everything to help you out, like just links, it'll link you to direct articles and all of that. Like they are very good at like also breaking down the people, because there are multiple people and actors. I like totally get it. So we break kind of those things down. So I think that's a general thing. Women like that because I think it.
All right, Dave. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to hang out for just a
It's
couple
like
more
male
minutes
makeup. It's
here.
like sculpting, whatever, in my opinion. That's
Told me I was going to have her out of here by 11. How long
oh
would
yes.
it take
Thank
for
you for
2
having
inches
me.
wide fire stream? Oh, that. So if there's a 2-inch wide fire stream on the ground and it's burning, it would have to be some kind of poured accelerant on the ground. I can't imagine what would catch on fire like that. To be in that narrow of a path, and his story, if he saw that, would jive with old man Randall's story of accelerants everywhere. And I'm not saying that he didn't see that or he's a liar, but I don't know if I believe him. There was other witnesses that said there was fire on the floor and on the table, but yet there's other witnesses said that they didn't see fire initially. They just saw smoke.
Exactly. Yoder and Dicer
It was an
didn't.
oxygen-deprived fire, which all the investigators agreed upon. That's why you'll see some yellow staining and that on a window. So it all just don't make sense. It's just
And I don't know what they mean about collateral damage with Galen's family.
Get down to that. Deja vu. They're in some situations they're better equipped than paid departments, but this department here, they're fair enough equipped. Yes, they don't need.
Unless they intended for the fire to be earlier that week, and like for whatever reason it didn't start then or whatever. I don't know how you would do that, but they
that wouldn't have been. They couldn't unless it wasn't a bomb or an explosion. It couldn't have been a cigarette.
Unless it was like literally a time trigger sort of thing, because they did do that like before in what was it, the home explosion by it was not meant to be a home explosion. It was meant to be an arson, but it did accidentally turn into a home explosion. But the Richmond Hill home explosion. Yes, wonderful. That's a very interesting arsonist. He set up the microwave and they had it filled with gas, but they were away that weekend, so that I feel like would be a more ideal time. The other interesting thing is that the kids that were upstairs were away that weekend.
Yeah, the other kids.
So that's always like kind of.
I always wonder, could there have been questions that they thought that they were away because Tracy was away, or there was basketball and cheerleading going on? Could they have thought that?
Well, they would have to be back for school. That's the thing. So like when people say like, I would only be able to make that mistake if they thought that the fire was supposed to be set earlier and then it was set later. But like, because they were gone, everyone was gone from the home. And then they came back, like she did a shift at work. She also like, it would have also be a unique time that she would have been killed in the fire, because after 3:00, technically her girls were home alone. And so if someone wanted to walk into that home before they had to wake up for school, but between when Galen went to work, they could have done that, but they didn't. Yeah. So Galen was definitely a target in this.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Or maybe in a weird way, that's what Doug Carter meant. Like, think about it. They wanted to get Galen, but not the girls. He didn't say that. Like
he's insinuated that.
It's possible. You never know with old Dougie, but
he said that. He said like recently he's exactly like he sounds. So like it's not really that exciting, but he said almost the exact same thing, but he said that I think whether Galen knows it or not, she'll have known this person.
Yeah. Lockwood, yeah, she was transported by helicopter. I'm not sure exactly what hospital.
I thought it was Ashkenazi burn unit in I thought it was in Indianapolis, but I may be wrong.
Lockwood, no, the only radio transmission, I haven't heard any from the fire department at all. You hear some on the Yoder dash cam, just his basic stuff in the police car on the radio and things like that. I'm going to get a couple more questions. Meow, it's 11 and we're going to get out of here.
My bedtime.
Yeah, probably not all in any state, although it's more, probably volunteer side, I'd say maybe half of them are or some kind of medical people too, because it will help them get jobs in other places.
All
You're on
right, I'm gonna head out. I'll let you
Called
take
on
some
cap.
questions or whatever. I'll be in the chat. I'll run in the chat, but I want to
Yeah.
have my dinner, and
Oh,
I.
it's a late dinner. Yeah, I'm getting ready to get out of here too. So if you want to pop in and anything here and answer or follow up, but thank you very much for your help tonight. Painting the
Oh,
background.
thanks for
Like I
having
said.
me. Like this was
Yeah.
wonderful.
It's always good to have, like, I could do the
I love to like go over
extra
this case with
Yeah.
someone who really knows it, and like I don't feel like I always get that opportunity because I feel like I'm always trying to like spread awareness on it. So I'm
Yeah.
always trying to tell people about it. But like it really is nice to like sit down and just like talk about this
Dig in
case.
deep.
I learned a lot from you. Like I learned a lot from him, guys. Like I can't plug this guy enough. So you guys like really definitely like subscribe and everything. Like I truly was like so upset. Like I was loving like going through like binging your lives recently. So
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate
anyways,
your time.
bye. And
All the work you do.
I'll have you on like ASAP too. So whenever you want.
Let me know.
All right.
Very good. Thank you. Meow, great as always. She has all tons of information. When I got some stuff and she didn't have, I was actually like, oh shit, you really didn't have this? But advocate, staunch advocate, friend of Galen and Kathy. Who I talked to Kathy today. She was a little tired. So we'll get her on though. Another good person, a good friend of Galen. I got to get out of here. My computer's going to die. I think Sleuth is on at 11. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can in chat. So it's Adamir. Yeah, the 2-foot fire path. I'm not saying he's lying, but 1023. Yeah, I actually had to Google the 10 codes today. I'm not sure what those means. 340 or 10-3. Yeah, I was looking that up because I saw that on there, and it's bizarre. But they all still use 10 codes. Maybe they still went on 2023, but we got away from it here. They do not have empathy. You're right. Sociopaths are, in my opinion, more dangerous because they can mock it. They know what it looks like. Well, thank you, Hybrid. We're definitely trying. Lockwood, I agree. Maybe you're into like the profiling thing like me a lot. Oh, Boston Christian, Mother of Dragons. Thank you for coming in. Jinx, great job as always. Oh, Deja Vu lives in the local area. Yeah. Oh, I bet you any money they do, you can go live. God, we heard, locally, we heard our own police officer get murdered and another one to get shot. And it was on. You were able to listen to it, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, here we would never do it because that's a total medical thing. But yeah, if our EMTs and paramedics certainly can do it. Well, Pam, congratulations. I think I gave you one a long time ago, didn't I? I hope. But if not, that's good. Mother of Dragons, Boston Christian, Mandy Ray. Yeah, it's possible. Or you know what, Mandy Ray, it's possible that there's like 4 or 5 different things going on at one time. Like the Atlanta child murders, man. I'll get on that sometime. There could have been like all these different crazy things happening. Well, Lockwood, I could totally understand how you get there. I can. Mother of Dragons is on it with you. Boston Christian, keep out who's in the car. I can't find that out, Boston Christian. I'd love to know that. And you would hope that police figure that out and talk to them. You would hope that, right? But yeah, we don't know for sure. I've done a lot of looking at that car. I can't get a close look enough to but you're right. I think you're on the right path. We need to know. They are, they're pretty insane. I think the average in a 10-year period or 7-year period for the demographics in Indiana for Carroll County was to average one child death, and including the year that the four floor girls died, they were like at like 16 or something like that in that period. It's an unbelievable, just an unbelievable. Was Doolin a volunteer? He could have been. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if he was, but I can't say for sure. But that's just my little theory on Doolin and them, Doolin and Skinner. We'll see if I'm right. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, Pam. That is a good question. If they all can do that, so that would explain how. Yeah. I don't know. Even if you were fire chief. Dave, I hope the storm. Dave's been getting knocked around by storms. Collateral damage. I don't know if we mean what they were just doing to them and thought, yeah, that's if Galen being the target and if someone's the target, man, it's just you got to understand people don't think like normal people do, right? These guys or gals that are doing these things. In this situation, I think it's a man or men, young men. But I appreciate everybody. Boston Christian is on it. I thank everyone for coming in. It's late for me. Late for Meow. She's just eating her dinner now. She had to wait. She wanted to do this first. So I appreciate everyone for coming in. Thank you all so much. I hope we got some things accomplished. Hope you understood some stuff tonight. If you're looking at that report, I'll go real quick. This is the end of the video, so you can just go to the end if you need to do it. 651 is Adam Randall. 601 is the Flora's engine. That's the first engine that usually comes out. 628 is the Flora squad truck with the turnout gear. D7 is Delphi Police. 602 is the second engine that comes out. It's actually the third truck coming to this fire from Flora. 902 is the Carroll County EMS director. And F5 is Dissinger. So when you're looking at that CAD, that's a little thing for you at the end. But I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to have a little bit of tea, maybe some buffalo chicken dip, watch some baseball or watch some sleuth. And we'll say tentacles. And I appreciate everybody and all the love and support. And we're going to get this done, man. We're rolling on this. The wheels are turning, man. Believe me. So we got it going. Coach Kev is out. They must hit their own button. Tentacles. Coach Kev out.